What's poppin', everybody? We are back, man. And before I get into introducing this video, man, I want to wish everyone a very happy and safe Father's Day. And I also want to let you guys know that starting on July 4th, we're going to be back to publishing content 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But for now, here's a special Father's Day episode of The Simpsons from season 17, episode 4 or 5, I believe. It is called See Homer Run. Now, before we get into talking about this very special Father's Day episode of The Simpsons, you guys already know how I do this thing, man, if you've been watching for a long time. Before I start breaking this episode down, I gotta give y'all that episode breakdown. As mentioned before, this episode of The Simpsons revolves around Father's Day. And it starts off with Homer essentially being like a kid, or well, every kid is, on Christmas Eve, on the night before Father's Day, dancing around the Simpsons household, celebrating, and is happy as hell that his day of celebration is about to be upon him. Now, Marge and the kids are going off to the mall to see what they can get Homer for his very special day. Bart ends up settling on a nice little nifty, cool looking tool, I gotta say, which, funny enough, he doesn't remember what it was or doesn't even know what it does specifically. And Lisa decided to give him a hand-created little, I guess you can call it a, not notebook, but a book of handcrafted drawings and all that special stuff, representing her and Homer's relationship. Funny thing, to me at least, is that Bart's gift required very little thought. Bart didn't even know what the hell it was. He was getting Homer. He thought it looked cool, and he said, you know what, I think Homer would like this. I'm getting this. Lisa scoured the whole entire mall, couldn't find anything that she think her dad would like, or better yet, would represent her love for her father, so she decided to create him this immaculate drawing, or book of drawings rather, that probably took a good deal of time, you would think. She legit put her heart into that book. I keep wanting to say there's a special word for it. I don't know what it is, but feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyway, Bart gives Homer his gift. Homer absolutely loves the hell out of it. Lisa gives him her gift, and Homer is like, yeah. Essentially, he says, fuck this shit. And he just tosses it to the side. He doesn't say that, obviously. But in so many words, that's how he felt about the gift. This, of course, absolutely upsets Lisa. And to make a long story short, Homer essentially is trying to find a way to win her back and make her love him again. So that's a nice little summary of the episode. Of course, I'm going to elaborate on it all a little bit more, but let's get off into my first impressions of this episode, man. I have to say, a lot of people crap on The Simpsons, especially for not being as good as they were today. I've heard so many people, like longtime fans of The Simpsons, say that the best seasons were from season 1 to probably season 10, maybe going on to season 13. And this has to be one of my first, actually no, this is my first favorite cartoon series that I ended up liking as a kid, man. I love The Simpsons, no matter how many good or bad episodes it has. I do have to agree with the majority of people, though. The golden years of The Simpsons has to be from season 1 to season 10, or at the very least to season 8. But I've never agreed that saying, hey, past this certain season, all episodes are complete garbage. For example, SpongeBob SquarePants, another one of my favorite cartoon series that I absolutely loved as a kid. Season 1 to season 3 are considered to be the golden years of that series. But that doesn't mean from season 4 to, I want to say they're on season 13 now, that there aren't going to be any golden episodes throughout that series. Hell no, that doesn't mean that. And that's the same for The Simpsons. Just because they're not at their peak that they once were back in the day, doesn't mean that each episode past a certain point is absolute garbage. There are some golden gems, and honestly, I'd say a lot more golden gems than there are garbage episodes of the series. And I mean, come on, they're on what, season 34 now? So yeah, things aren't gonna be the same as they were in season 1, just being honest. But I'm going on this long tangent. All I gotta say with this is that this episode, man, is a pretty damn good one. I personally feel that the plot is put well together, and I have to say that the characterization in this episode is very much on point. And I also have to say that comedy, just like many cartoon series like SpongeBob, even South Park, is done extremely well in this episode. Obviously, I'm going to touch on more of that in a little bit, and I'm going to explain these thoughts further on in my final review, but let's get on to some of my favorite parts of the episode, man. Homer is not known to be Father of the Year. I must say that, right? Homer is not the Father of the Year. He's very far from it. And this episode showcases that very well. I'm sure that most people, when Father's Day rolls around, don't know what they want to get their dad for Father's Day. Hell, I'm kind of one of those people. But most people legit don't know what to get their dads for Father's Day. And if they don't want to give them money in a card or take them out to dinner, just the basic ass gifts, then they have to get somewhat creative. Bart was lucky enough to find something cool as hell to give to Homer. Lisa decided, you know what, I'm going to go the creative route because she thought that would be something that Homer appreciated. But most fans of the series know that Homer wouldn't give a shit about it. So when Lisa gives Homer her gift, she ends up being very disappointed that Homer didn't like it. And you could just clearly see that Homer really didn't care for the gift. Voice acting, I gotta say, in this portion of the episode was on point. You can tell that Homer really was not fucking with the gift. Animation, too, just showcasing that when he slams the gift down. It was just like, ooh, it made me feel bad for Lisa at that point. I was like, damn, Homer, you gonna do the girl like that? Shit. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of feeling for her at that point. And just him putting the whole little book of drawings on the refrigerator and it falling down and essentially getting destroyed was another great adage to that whole feeling, because when the book falls, he's like, lousy refrigerator magnet. And it's so fucked up because the gift, or the magnet rather, was created by Lisa. So she got the whole double whammy at that part of the episode, man. And it's just like, oh, come on, Homer, you just keep fucking up. You can't catch a break, can you? This causes Lisa to be in a screwed up mood, and she ends up having a big flip out at school, destroying windows, pushing Milhouse in the mud, kicking over trash cans. Listen, she's throwing a whole fit out there, man. Which causes Homer and Marge to sit down and have a meeting with Principal Skinner, who introduces them to a school psychologist, I believe. And this essentially starts the whole redemption arc of the episode for Homer, trying to win Lisa's love back. This leads me to the second part that I really loved about the episode. This is where the whole comedy portion really kicks in, is when Homer takes over as the school's mascot as the safety salamander. The first thing that I really love about this whole safety salamander gimmick is when he finally shows it to Lisa, and he ends up scaring the shit out of her with it. And he's having a hard time navigating the whole house with it. He starts knocking things over. He ends up trying to get out the door, ends up stepping on the cat, thinking it's Bart. It was just hilarious, honestly. I love that whole scene. But the whole thing in general is that Homer's supposed to be the safety salamander. Well, he's anything but safe. He's riding the school bus with the kids, and he comments to Otto that, yo, man, there's no seatbelts on this bus. How are the kids supposed to be safe with no seatbelts? And he was like, oh, there's a metal bar at teeth level. And Homer's like, stop the bus. And then Otto stops the bus and all the kids' teeth end up getting knocked out. Not only that, though, when he's at the school, he has some fireworks and he tries to set them off, ends up starting a huge fire. Homer was anything but safe as the safety salamander. And this whole gimmick was essentially an epic fail in his efforts to win Lisa back. But he essentially does win her love back when he ends up saving a whole bunch of people who ended up getting into a big, gigantic traffic accident, which, funny enough, was caused by Bart stealing a street sign earlier on in the episode, which I must say was some excellent plot structure, by the way. And Homer goes on to further try and win her love back by becoming mayor of Springfield, all while trying to maintain his safety salamander gimmick. This was going pretty damn well. He was going to pull it off, but the suit ends up getting screwed up after Marge washed it, and the citizens of Springfield end up losing all their trust in him just because he's not the safety salamander anymore, which inevitably led to Joe Quimby winning again. This actually leads to my last favorite moments of the episode. The third favorite moment for me was when Homer loses the suit, or well, the suit ends up getting destroyed. He ends up falling all out of the suit, essentially, during a live debate. And Homer tries to bring his kids on stage, and they didn't want any of that. Lisa was like, nope, 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 don't put the cameras on me. I'm not in this. And then when he tries to introduce Bart, Bart shoves Milhouse out. Listen, that was some funny comedy right there. And the even better thing with this angle of the episode was when, I want to say it was Mo was like, we had enough of you and your hatchlings. I just love that shit. But the final moment that I do love about this episode is essentially Homer's redemption, where he ends up talking to Lisa and he kind of expresses that he's upset that he failed. And Lisa's like, no, you did good. And they just end up dancing right at the end of the episode. It's nice. It's very heartfelt. And I just love that ending of the episode. Now, let's move on to my final review. Overall, man, I have to say this was a very, very enjoyable episode. For me, at least. Whether people agree or disagree with that, hey, it's all good. But I honestly did enjoy this episode. Like I said, characterization on point. Lisa, obviously being the artsy daughter of the Simpsons family, thought Homer would enjoy a nice heartfelt gift like that in her heart truly expresses how she felt about him. That while that's something she would enjoy, she didn't consider that that wouldn't be something Homer liked. And she ends up taking 2 big L's for that. Not only for him expressing his distaste for the gift itself, but him also disgracing another gift that she gave him in the refrigerator magnet. As screwed up as that scene was right there, man, it was hilarious, okay? And I want to once again add that animation and the voice acting for Homer Simpson in that portion of the episode was on point. And it just, you can really tell as a watcher that Homer did not like that gift. Lisa was disappointed by it. And you can honestly just feel like you're taking the L. You can feel bad for Lisa. Because I tell you, that's how I felt in that portion of the episode. Another thing that I feel that this episode did great was the whole comedy and joke-telling segments rather, of the episode. Homer and the safety salamander gimmick was hilarious as shit. Homer was anything but safe, like I said in the earlier portions of this episode. And the scenes where he ended up screwing everything up was just gold to me. While it didn't have me busting my gut with laughter, it was pretty damn funny, if I do say so myself. Especially the part where Homer steps on the cat and says, sorry, Bart. I love that shit, man. And there were obviously several other funny parts of the episode, like where Bart takes the street sign after being peer pressured by the bullies. Skinner and Willie having their little banner back and forth when Lisa was having her little rampage. And you can see how fucked up and ghetto Springfield Elementary School really is. The whole scene where Homer ends up making the kids lose all their teeth on the school bus. And I think, and I forgot to mention this, I wouldn't say this is the funniest part of the episode, but it was cool to see a little scene during the live debates with the cat lady. Her name is Eleanor. I did not know that. Her name is Eleanor something. I can't remember her last name, but it was cool to see a little bit of the cat lady, and her big ticket item of winning everybody over was getting cats in everybody's pants. Comedy, as I said, very on point with this episode, and just the whole redemption of Homer Simpson in this episode was just beautiful, and that beautiful dancing scene at the end of it was just, oh man, it was cool. I loved it. I loved this whole entire episode. To be honest with you, I'm gonna have to hit this with a nice 7.5 out of 10. I'm not going to sit here and praise this episode from the rooftop saying that it's the greatest episode of The Simpsons ever. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will say that this episode is not terrible. It's far from terrible. It's not even okay. I'd say it's very good for what it was. If it pops up on TV, on Fox 32 or whatever, or FXX, I'll be happy to see it. I wouldn't jump out of my seat for it, but I wouldn't change the channel because it's on either. So for that, I'll have to hit this episode with a 7.5 out of 10. Once again, man, I hope you all have a very happy and safe Father's Day. Hope you guys enjoy your day. This has been my review for The Simpsons Season 17, Episode 4, see Homer run. This is the cartoon kid, Ray Rollins. Tell me what you think about this episode, man. Tell me if you loved it. Tell me if you hate it. Tell me what you would rate it. Put all your opinions and suggestions down in the comments box below, man. That's what it's there for. And feel free to check out any other videos that I got here on the channel. More content will be coming July 4th. And as I say at the end of each and every video, man, I love y'all. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace out, everybody.